Good evening, Fernwood. It's your TV pal Neil, and it's time for some more late night variety madness with another episode of Fernwood Tonight. If you're just seeing my face for the first time, thanks for tuning in. This is a reaction show where we will watch the show together and then afterward we'll talk about it because that's what civil people do, and we like to be civil. And if that sounds like it's your bag, then please stick around. Also, if you're a viewer who wants to help the channel grow, then please visit Patreon where you can get uncut episodes, early access like a week in advance, and also updates on what the channel is doing, because things are changing. Today we are watching episode 60. That's the end of the 12th week of the series. It's the penultimate week of Fernwood Tonight. That is from September 23rd, 1977. Yesterday got into some silliness, so let's see what that was about. Barth Gimble started the show by talking about his most recent trip to Vegas. And then Virgil Sims shows up to show us his new car, which Barth suggests that Jerry would ride like a dog. The special thing about Virgil's new car is that it's electric, though he does have some difficulty starting it because one of the 4,000 batteries in there seems to be dead. Emmanuel Kaczynski returns to help improve life for gay people by starting a nation entirely for them. And then Virgil joins the couch to sing a song, and that's how they end up playing us out of the show. Everyone, we are really coming into it, so let's find out what it is.
To dry glide on.
Tonight from Fernwood, Fernwood Tonight. 30 minutes of very remarkable entertainment coming to you almost live. With your host for tonight, Mr. Barth Gimble. Tonight, Barth's guest will be the Fernwood Female All-Stars who bounce on the floor. And Happy Kind and the Mirth Makers. And me, I'm Jerry Hubbard. And now here's your favorite host and mine, Mr. Barth Gimble.
Thank you so much. Wow, this is terrific. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to FT. My name is BG. You probably wonder why I'm confident enough to simply give my initials, and you know who I am. Barth Gimble, or BG. Okay. Well, in answer to your question, I sure am. And with good reason. I'm in your living rooms every night, and at least my voice and face are. But wouldn't it be a dream come true if I was actually in your living room or dining room? Well, take it from the people who've been in my home, I'm even better in person. And that's the way you can have me, thanks to me. I'm adding a new dimension to FT, the third one. You can have Barth Gimble at your next party, and not on TV in black and white, in 3 real-life dimensions: looks, strength, and depth. It seems that every time you invite someone to a party, they always say, "Hey, what can I bring?" Well, let me tell you what I can bring, if I'm hired. To your next party, I can bring 250 of the world's best jokes. Handshakes, white, Negro, and Messiah. Anecdotes, I've got anecdotes that range from 18 minutes to over 3 hours, and each one of them has a punchline that sends you home thinking, okay? Plus, I will interview each and every guest at your party with personalized questions, scientifically designed to bring out something interesting in almost everyone. And don't think I'm going to come to your party for half an hour and then split. If I've been reading my mail correctly, you've been telling me half an hour with Barth Gimble just isn't enough, okay? So believe me, if you hire me for your party, I won't leave until the last guest is gone and that refrigerator is spotless. Now, what would you expect to pay for something like this? $7, $8, even $900? Think again. Okay, think once more. Okay, think again. Right. Now divide that in half. That's right. $40. And that $40 gets you me And it gets you me in my television clothing, the clothing you know me by, and the full evening's use of my Polaroid SX70 land camera. Incidentally, any pictures that come out will be for sale, okay? Oh, here's something that didn't quite come out. Mr. Jerry Hubbard, my cook. I just want to finish something I was telling the people. We were right with you, Jerry. So if you've been giving the kind of parties, you know, where your guests, you have these too, I know all the time, where your guests spend the first half of the evening apologizing for getting there late, and the second half, you know, explaining, hey, I got a big day tomorrow. Just give BG a ring and a drink, okay, Jerry?
If you'd like TV's popular Barth Gimbel to liven up your next soiree, send that $40 non-refundable reservation fee, $46 if you'd like me to come along, to Life of the Party, Gimbel Co. Enterprises, Post Office Box 78924, Fernwood, Ohio. All parties must start by 7:30 p.m. and end no sooner than midnight. Birthday parties do not include gift.
That's right. Well, there's no way that we can avoid this any longer. If you're a staunch Fernwood Tonight viewer, you recall just a few days ago, really, we didn't really lash out. It was more self-defense. We made a little speech here, an impassioned plea, if you will. It seems that a Mr. Tom Snyder on the Tomorrow Show, he calls it? Is that it? I think so. Okay, it's on the NBC television network. Took it upon himself. Apparently, he saw a tape of our show here in Fernwood, or he was passing through Ohio. I don't know what it was. He took it upon himself to lash out at us and say some unkind things. And so, in defense, I said a few words about Tom Snyder. I say in defense, it was like self-defense, really. And he took our self-defense as offensive. Because he was being offensive. We self-defended. Of course, our self-defending thought was offense. Then we have the defense. And here to defend, because he was offended, Mr. Snyder's position is the president of the Tom Snyder Fan Club of Fernwood, Ohio. I did not know this existed. Apparently it does. Please welcome Mr. Harry Shearer. Mr. Shearer, good evening.
Good evening to you, Mr. Gimbel, and I would be a little more civil, but I happen to be steamed, and that's why I'm here this morning. Because, first of all, first things first, it's not a fan club. Journalists don't have fan clubs. You know, singers, dancers, people in ice shows have fan clubs. It's an appreciation society. Journalists have appreciation societies, and that's what I've formed for Mr. Snyder.
Okay.
Secondly, I'm a little bit steamed, a little bit ticked because of the kinds of things that you were saying about the man on television here a few nights ago. I don't know exactly what night it was. My secretary called my attention to it.
Okay, Mr. Shearer, now you are, let's just to clear this up, you say not the president of the fan club because there is no fan club because you consider the man a journalist. That's quite all right.
Thank you. You don't mind.
Do you still follow him as a fan club president would? I mean, watch every night here in Fernwood?
Well, it's a little bit difficult to watch him every night in Fernwood for the simple reason he's not on here in Fernwood. It's people who watch don't know. As a matter of fact, those of us who are in the Appreciation Society have a difficult time of it. We have to drive up to Dayton or Chillicothe. I think there's a cable station in Chillicothe. We can get one of the motels. And you check into a hotel with 2 or 3 guys at 1 o'clock in the morning, you get some strange looks, I want to tell you. We think it's worth it because he's the only man who's getting things said on national television. He's getting them said in a particular way, in an interesting way I particularly find fascinating.
I was just curious.
I'm listening too close.
Now, on Mr. Snyder's show, they'll have like a nude dentist, they'll have a nude therapist, they'll have someone who, you know, does this type of thing. A lot of nudity, a lot of people from outer space. Now, these people, to me, do not resemble the real life people, the real meat of life.
I know what you're going to say, but let me tell you one thing. The best thing that television can do is reflect the real world around us. 95% of the American people at 1 o'clock in the morning are in the nude.
Well, there you hear it. I thank you very much for coming on the show. It's been very informative, and I'm going to take you up on your offer right there. Mr. Tom Snyder, if you were listening, if you can afford it, and I'm sure you well can with that kind of network pay, boy, I'd kill for it. If you can afford that airline ticket to Cleveland, we will send one of our own WZAZ station wagons up there to Hopkins Airport to pick you up, drive you down here to Fernwood, and have you on the show anytime you want, and we'll pay you scale. Okay? Is that fair enough?
You don't think I could borrow one of the station wagons to go up to Chillicothe and catch a show tonight, do you?
If you put gas in it.
Sure.
Okay. Let's thank Mr. Harry Shearer.
Thank you.
We'll be right back after this word. Don't go away. happy? Aren't they wonderful? Were they? What? Happy time, the Nerf makers. You guys think about them, no matter how it sounds, you always know they're doing their best. We've got to move on here. Our next guests are 3 women from the Tri-County area who have made us all very proud. Each one of them has been chosen to the All-State Women's Basketball All-Star Team. That's no mean achievement either. And we think they deserve to be recognized on Fernwood tonight. Can we bring them out? Great. The All-State Left Guard. At 5 feet 3 inches tall and 105 pounds, Ms. Arlene Jeffrey. Nice to have you. Nice to see you. Okay, moving along. At left forward, 5 feet 6, 115 pounds. Let's welcome Ms. Christine Sawyer. Okay, and finally the third wonderful basketball player at right forward, 5 feet 5, 112 pounds, Miss Suzanne Oliver. Well, thank you, Happy. We are certainly proud of you, that's for darn sure. This is quite a compliment, I think, to be chosen from all of the lady basketballers in the state. And we just have thousands of questions we want to ask you. I know they do and I do, but I'm up here, so I'll ask them.
I think I'm really excited to have all you girls on. Really, it's amazing. I'm a big sports fan, and I've never seen white people handle a basketball that well. I'm a sports enthusiast, and I just love it when the sport types come on the show. It's really kind of vicarious thrill for me. And it's something about you athletes that I really admire. It's this day when everything's so namby-pamby. I don't know, you're just so masculine, and it's just wonderful. Too.
Jerry, I think one compliment a day is really all these girls can take. Yes, it's nice to do a little sports on the show. I think it's a nice idea, and I've always been a big sports fan myself. You know that. Football, baseball, basketball, you name it, I love it.
Hockey?
Yeah, I love that.
Soccer?
Yes.
Bowling?
Yes.
Cricket?
Yes.
Volleyball?
Yes. Fine, Jerry, I love all sports, okay?
I do, too. I love amateur sports.
Really?
Yeah, even more so than professional sports. I don't know,
do I.
professional sports, particularly on TV, they're kind of untrustworthy. Did you know there's a Senate subcommittee being prepared to investigate professional sports on TV, and I think it's about time. I have a feeling most of them are fixed.
Jerry, I've seen too many baseball, basketball, and football games on TV to buy that.
Well, there's the proof. Now, you know, I think it's the television stations. The television stations and networks themselves that are rigging these games. I think they're even writing the outcome. So we know the winners in advance. Sure, they want to have that intensity and that excitement and that drama that they give us in those big network shows like Charlie's Angels and Laverne and Shirley.
Yes.
And Merv Griffin.
Yes.
And, well, I could go on there forever.
No.
No? But, no, there's really an intensity there and excitement. You've seen exciting games with exciting finishes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All the time.
All right. Now, what about those instant replays?
Okay.
All right, how do they know who's going to make those good plays when they have that instant replay? I mean, they'll line up that receiver from the time he gets to the line of scrimmage. They follow him all the way. And another thing, how do they know which is going to be the winning team? You know, they always say at the end of the game we'll be down in the winner's locker room. How do they know? They never show up in the wrong locker room. Maybe that's a good point. Put this in your pipe and see how it sucks. How do they know? Time, and as soon as the game's over, another program starts. And it's time for a commercial. What happens down on the field? There's a timeout. And sure enough, when the commercial's over, the game starts again. And how come there's never any tie games anymore? How come there always has to be one winner and one loser?
Just like on a talk show, Jerry.
Yeah. And how come the same teams and the same people are always winning? How come, Jimmy Connors and Bjorn Borg always wins? How come Pancho Gonzalez doesn't win a tennis game anymore? Could it be the in your poncho refuse to cooperate after a while? Could that be the answer?
I don't think so.
Do these questions give you some idea of what is on my mind?
Yeah, they do, Jerry.
Well, okay, you can laugh at me. I mean, they all laughed at Christopher Columbus when he heard the world was round. And they laughed at Thomas Edison, and they laughed at Marie Curie, and they laughed at Fulton with his steamboat, and, well, who else did they laugh at? They laughed at Sid Caesar.
Right.
Gleason, they laughed at Bob Hope, they laughed at Lucille Ball,
Yes.
they laughed at the Bowery Boys.
Yes.
I even laughed at the Bowery Boys. My favorite was Hunts Hall. I love a man who wears a suit and a baseball hat. When the truth comes out, they're going to be laughing out of the other side of their face, because only then, and only then, is a man like Dwayne Boblick going to be able to get into a ring and show exactly what he can do. And I think in the meanwhile, we should support the amateurs because they don't get paid nearly as much as the professionals. You know, I'm not much with words. I don't know how to say these things.
Yeah, I know it's hard for you to talk about it, Jerry, but I appreciate it.
Someone used to turn his hat up, the baseball hat up.
We know. Girls, it's been really nice trying to talk to you here, and that's our sports feature tonight. We'll be right back after these words. Don't go away.
Thank you. Got Tommy out here. We're back, incidentally. How about it? Oh, okay. Well, from time to time, we're always talking about our Channel 6 family here, and it really is kind of a family. And, well, I play the instrument here, and I've been taking lessons from Tommy here, and, well, we thought we'd do a little number together for you. Tommy, of course, you've got quite a family yourself, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you count all the guys in prison. Tommy, of course, came to us straight from the slammer, and doing very well. He learned to play in jail, if I recall.
I think it was something like that.
Yeah. Tommy Marinucci, I should introduce him. How about it? Tommy taught me to put my cigarette in here and everything. He's great. So I'd like to do a song about my own personal family. Everybody's family has some characteristic to it, and old Barth was no different. And I was trying to think of something that made my family stand out a little bit, and I realized something that might be similar to your family's, actually, and that is the fact that noses run in my family. And I have a little joke there, but I made a whole song out of it. I hope you enjoy it. With the help of Tommy here, we're going to try to lay it out for you. It's a jazz song, so anybody who's too young for that might want to just watch something else. Is that all right? Jazz chords? Okay. Fine, here we go. We have mood lighting? Okay, good. For jazz. Beautiful. Some people use their noses for blowing. Some people use them for mustache growing. Some people use them telling jokes about the Jews. Some folks like Walter Cronkite, well, they got a nose for news. Some people stick them into other folks' affairs. Some people send away for scissors for the hairs. Some people keep them to the grindstone every minute. Some folks spend fortunes putting powders in it. Oh, but you got a nose like nobody's nose, and nobody knows where it may lead you. So, honey, don't you cry. Blow your nose, dry your eye, 'cause I love you, and you know I need you. No sense crying over noses. Let's just pretend we're Eskimos. 'Cause I love you, and you know I need you. Darling, I need you. Honey, I need you. Thank you. We'll be right back after this word. Don't go away. Thank you, Happy. Boy, that's about it for tonight. We got just a few seconds here. I had an awfully good time because, it featured me so much. I'll have to say something, too. While I was doing that song about my family there, it made me realize that, hey, we people here in the business really are one big family, even though you girls aren't getting paid tonight. You're on television, so you're part of the family. And, Jerry, I got to say something. I got a little annoyed before when it seemed like you went on, when you could start to time that speech.
I was so embarrassed. I didn't know we were on the air. I didn't know the show had started.
Our director timed what you were saying there, and I might be kind of interested to find out later how long it was. And you still have that calendar, right? But Jerry, the hatchet's buried. You're a heck of a guy. One of my best friends, Mr. Jerry Hubbard. How about it? Huh? Let's We're all one family. Huh? We're a family. Also like to extend...
Let me say something sincerely, Barth. If it wasn't for you, I'd have no one to introduce.
I also think that family includes broadcasters, as you say, and introducers. Sure. You are the introducer here, and you're doing a pretty darn good job of it. All over the nation, and I'll never forget that fellow who came out here the first time, Harry, what's his name there, that talked about Tom Snyder. Tom, you're part of that family, too, and I'm burying the hatchet. All is forgiven. You said what you said with good reason. I said what I said with good reason. I think we can extend that hand out right now and once again re-emphasize the invitation to come here to Fernwood, Ohio, be on our show, do what they won't let you do at NBC, sing, dance, play the part in Charlie's Aunt, whatever it is you want to do. You're welcome. And anybody out there who's even a bigger star, we'd like to have you too. Okay? That's it for tonight. Thank you very much. Good night.
Well, this was a nice, silly one. Barth starts the episode by offering his services as, a guest at your party for $40, and that could be fun. Then we bring on Harry Shearer, who is clearly on the staff of the show at this point, but he appears as Harry Shearer, the leader of the Tom Snyder Appreciation Society. Harry Shearer has been in a lot of things, including This Is Spinal Tap as Derek Smalls. He also voiced many characters on The Simpsons over the decades. I became familiar with Harry Shearer myself through his NPR show Le Show, which does a lot of funky sketch kind of comedy. And here it's Harry Shearer as the president of the Tom Schneider Appreciation Society, since there's no such thing as a fan club for a, broadcast persona. I'm not sure if this was a reference to Tom Schneider. He was getting some laughs based on just the read, like his performance. So I have to imagine there's a bit of a Tom Schneider kind of feel going on here. I don't know. I'm not familiar with the sound of Tom Schneider's voice or his, his own read. And then we bring on the Fernwood Female All-Stars. I thought it might be the Fernwood Fascinating Females, but it's not. It's not Candy. It is 3 other women who are basketball stars. They don't appear to be especially good at basketball, and they don't get to say anything. So I have to imagine that they're extras. This is mainly a chance for Jerry to go off on a tangent that completely blocks the rest of the show from happening. Jerry is talking about how sports are probably fixed because, television, how do they know how to plan any of television if the show is completely unplanned? And he goes on a few different tangents which are fairly entertaining, but that's all. We don't get anything from the Fernwood Female All-Stars. And then, after commercial, Tommy Marinucci is out and Barth sings a song about things you can do with your nose. And then we end the show with, just saying thanks to Jerry and burying the hatchet with Tom Schneider, and then chaos of throwing a lot of basketballs at a hoop. So now it's time for us to talk about the subject that, I've been waiting for. Maybe I hope you've been waiting for it too. That this channel in just over a week is going to be changing to call itself Dating Myself. And on that, I will be watching MASH from week to week, and a second show which I've been giving hints about all week long, since, I shoot a little bit in advance. You haven't seen any of these hints, so we have no guesses. That's kind of how this works. The second series I talked about is an anime from the 1970s that has a science fiction superhero feel. It's got a lot of flair, a lot of ninjas, kind of a bird theme. I showed some of the insignias and symbols from the show. And yeah, now it's time to reveal that I will be watching Gatchaman. When it was adapted in the States, they put it under the title Battle of the Planets. I will not be watching Battle of the Planets because, I wanted to watch the original Japanese cuts with English voicing. So, I'm not fluent in Japanese or anything. But Gatchaman is a science fiction superhero so-so, like I've been talking about this whole time. And I am very excited to watch this show. I've been very eager to watch the series. And hey, we're going to do, several episodes as we go from month to month to month. So everyone, that's what I've got to say about the coming future of this channel. Thank you so much for watching with me. Thank you so much for leaving your thoughts, feelings, and impressions in the comments. Thank you to my top tier Patreon supporters, because you are the gift that keeps on giving. We will see you next week for one more week in Fernwood.